How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Miss Marvel episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 2 of our 6 episode series known as A Crushed. But before I go any further, please like, well, not just like, hit the like button, crush the subscribe button, go ahead and crush that little bell you ding right there, be notified of more videos just like this, and please comment on the video. I would love to know what each and every last one of you think about the show or my reviews of the show. Yeah, I apologize. These things are coming late. Usually I do all the shows when the day they come out, but now I'm kind of a day behind. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Another thing to note about this show is that it is technically like the runtime has been saying 50 minutes and 52 minutes, even though it's like around 48 to 45. It's still pretty decently long, right? Which kind of hurts my feelings because Hawkeye wasn't even that long for some of their episodes. And I'm wearing this Avenger shirt because I didn't want to wear my Captain Marvel shirt again. But yeah, I almost thought I was going to go into this review with no notes, but I wrote something down. So, pardon me. Let's talk about Kamalas Powers. Obviously, last episode she saved Zoe. That's the character's name. I was saying the actress's name instead of the character's name. And Zoe's living it up, and everybody's like, "Hey, she knows that she met the girl." She put YouTube videos out, and this episode kind of shows why always putting yourself out there and being a blogger and all that little stuff is kind of dangerous, especially if you're a young teenager. Because remember, Damage Control, the Department of Damage Control was out to find who this powered person is, and it's crazy because I didn't note this before, but the guy who's there was the same a-hole that was interviewing Peter and his family. This, at least in these episode and a fourth, the end of the after credit scene of the first episode, they really paint the Department of Damage Control out to be they're a-holes. Like, they chased Kamala with the drone. They had their little weapons drawn, and they were ready to get her until she got rescued by one of her love interests, who I'm pretty sure is going to be the Red Scarf. I'm pretty sure that's who that guy is. Yeah, they are not nice people. They bother me, and I guess that's the point. I'm not taking anything out on the actors, which no one should be taking things out on actors for doing their job. It's just, man. As a matter of fact, I'll go right into that before. I was gonna go into powers. Let me go into that. Like, the Agent Devers, she is this whole entire scene with them interviewing Zoe. The guy kind of tricked her to get her open up to my, oh yeah, we're all fans of your whole thing, and obviously they looked at one of her videos and just say, oh yeah, that's the one on popcorn, right? And the woman agent comes in, such an ass. And it's like, just tell us, what's their nationality, what's their race, uh, because initially they do say, well, they say she looks just like you, white, redhead, and she's like, no, she looks nothing like me. That's how they get it. And I wonder how they have the authority of snatching a teenager to interrogate them. Like, are the Sokovian Accords still in effect? I would hope that in one of these movies they have to get rid of them, right? Because if you and it's very much a home was it Homeland Security? There was when I was growing up after the 9/11 terror attacks. If you're old enough to remember this, you know what I'm talking about. I don't remember if it's Homeland Security, but they would snatch people who were of Middle Eastern descent or even looked like them and be like, we believe that you're part of all this and blah blah blah. And a lot of these people were born here in the United States. They were snatched, weren't seen by their families for months on end or days on end, and then suddenly just chucked back out there after things like waterboarding. Right? This is very reminiscent of that. And this agent, she goes, "Oh, the Hispanic. I'm sorry. What are they calling it these days? Latino X." I'm like, wow. And just the way she said it. And as a matter of fact, I have found out through my everyday life that not a lot of people of those descent, a lot of them prefer Hispanic. A lot of them don't like to hear Latin Latino X because it excludes a lot of people. And when she mentioned Southeast Asian, there you go. They run with that, and the guy goes, temples and he said synagogues, temples, and mosques. And he said, be careful going around there. FBI is already watching them, and that touched a nerve on me. I don't know if it touched a nerve because there is so much truth in that. I have no. I'll be honest. I don't do conspiracy theories and any of that other stuff, but that's if that's actually what the government is doing, which they probably are. You got to look at how they treat our Muslim brothers and sisters. They treat them like everybody's a damn terrorist. When yeah, we won't get into that. Pay attention to CNN and all that other stuff this week. But yes, uh, yes, and I guess that. Maybe that's why it touched the nerve. But it's weird to touch the. I think it touched the nerve because the female agent diva, she's such the just her language is so I hate it. I hate her language a lot. But yeah, they seem to be the bad guys. Uh, but let's go back to the powers, right? Her and her friend Bruno have dubbed them heart-like powers because she's able to make light and make it a solid construct. She can stretch out a fist, stretch out a hand, X, Y, and Z. And as a matter of fact, this kid is super smart because he's getting into oh goodness gracious, I have phone notes as well. He's getting into a program, and I cannot remember the name of the damn program. It's over out west. Starts with a C. Please, guys, don't be mad at me. I really can't remember what was the Caltech. There we go. He got into the Caltech program. Gonna be studying over there for one semester. Blah 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 blah. So this kid's smart enough that he's able to make a thing to scan her and say, "Hey, the bracelet isn't where your powers come from. It's pulling your powers out. It's bringing them out from the inside, which is quite interesting. It's not like the Quasar bands at all, but it seems like it kind of ties into the Inhumans with the Terrigen Mist because in the comics, Kamala Khan's abilities are because one of her relatives, distant relatives, was an Inhuman. And it's hinted heavily that her great grandmother had Inhuman powers because she was talking to the group they call the Illuminantes and to find out more about her great grandmother. Of course, they love to gossip, so they're going to tell her. They said she did weird things. She cursed a guy. She even killed a man. This is all during the partition. Uh, and boy, oh boy, is the event that had separated British India into India and Pakistan. And oh boy, I gotta give it to. I have to give it to. Uh, I'm gonna give it to Feige, right? I don't know who to give it to. So I'm gonna give it to the guy that's in charge of all this. I love that they touch on the real world social issues that have happened that are happening right now. So they started that whole thing literally with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I appreciate that it's not just the black and white thing. I appreciate they're going into how forms of government are bothering people of color, black people and non-black people of color. I love how they're going into uh, how their religious life is, right? Because one of the things they touch on is Kamala and her friend. I cannot remember her friend's name. She's actually one of my favorite characters. I like her. She is so. I like this girl. I like her a lot. Um, they're both always late, right, for the daily prayer, and you gotta wash your feet. You gotta take off. You gotta put your shoes away, and the area where the women are, where they are blocked off, they can be hurt, but where they're blocked off, they are legitimately it's in shambles. The men's area is nice and cool and everything else, and even the it is interesting because the younger generation they're using their phones for Insta and TikTok. He had to have one of the aunties take their phones. Go, no, you don't do this during the daily lecture, right? Or during the lecture, right? And it's very interesting that Kamala was able to speak out loud, even though she was whispering and talking over. Very interesting that there wasn't much recourse or much punishment or looking down on when she spoke out. So maybe they are doing a good job of showing modern Muslim people and modern Muslim practices. I don't know because I've never been in a mosque before. I would have to ask a close friend of mine how that is, but former classmate of mine. But if you are a person who knows much about the Muslim faith and you have seen this episode, or you are Muslim, welcome, and you watched this episode, let me know. Let me know if this is a thing that generally happens. But they have elections going on for a position of leadership within the mosque, and it's nice to see that she's convinced her friend to run for. So Kamala's already showing heroic attributes. Willing to go out and save people. Just hurry up, I'm going to go out there and save you. Willing to inspire. She inspires folks, and I like that. But again, she's a teenager and she is naive. But yes, I'm tying all this back to the power discussion. It's very much hinted at that this is in human technology and that there's been a long line of people that put on this bracelet, this band, to see if they can unlock their abilities. At one point, when she's saving a young man who is definitely the mosque shoe thief, he's wearing the young lady's shoes as she's saving him, right? And she sees this image of a woman reaching out to her, and while she's reaching out to the kid, which kind of interferes with her abilities, she has to soften the kid's fall on top of the car. Uh, it's so crazy. What is the name? Light Bright. Zoe calls her Light Bright because she couldn't think of a name, and that's such a teenager thing to do. Instead of saying, I didn't get her name, we're just gonna lie and just make up a name for her. Which I can't. I'm looking forward. I genuinely hope this happens. I hope in episode 6, Carol Danvers comes down, goes to the department, just say, "Hey, she's with me. Well, what's her name? She's Ms.Marvel. Don't touch her. She's with me. That's my girl." Um, I can see where they're trying to take this. I don't like that her powers are crystalline. Why is it that she just can't stretch? And that's just the only thing. She can't stretch and change her size and do her shape shifting abilities. It's maybe one day I'll get over it. But the interesting thing that offsets all of that is just the style of the show. When she meets her other love interest, because it's very obvious that her and Bruno they got the doki dokis, they got the feelings for each other, right? But when this other guy comes in, he's all shirtless and jumping down at the party, which she got permission from her mother to go. We are rebuilding that relationship. Um, she sees her and her friend is so funny, because I love that they're using English and they put in bits of I'm gonna say it's Arabic, right? They put in bits of the language that they use every day in their families, and they say, "Oh damn," when he comes out, and you see fire and 100% and hearts all around this guy. I love how they show text messages instead of just showing it on the screen. It's always on the side in some type of stylized way. Very, very reminiscent of Into the Spider Verse. I that is one of the things that save this show when it comes to like hardcore me going, man, I don't like the fact that you mucked with her powers because of literal bull crap. But Iman's acting, everyone's acting is so on point. So, already said party moment. Already talked about that. I talked about her abilities. Um, I talked about the a-holes. The love interest, I'm pretty sure that dude's the Red Scarf, who was actually a family friend in the comics, but she lies and say he's a cousin to her brother because she doesn't want to see her out on a date with a random guy, which is it's crazy because he has a British accent. So we'll find out what that's all about. Maybe they're from, I don't know, maybe their family did go to Britain from India during all that time. Maybe. And he does a good job of having to put on the typical accent kind of thing, but yeah. Um, what's another thing I'm trying to? I already talked about the real world stuff. Talk about the love interest a little bit more. He is the one to save her from the Department of Damage Control because she jumps into his car. He let her drive his car. The parents supposed to be from his uncle, and she meets his mother, who has been wanting to meet her. And she took off her. She's been wearing her Captain Marvel costume, cosplay costume as her costume, which I they're moving pretty quickly, showing us who the potential villains are and the scenarios and things like that. I'm really hoping that we do get Carol Danvers in here. At least, if it's not 6 episodes, you can do it super early. I don't mind. I have a feeling we might see Monica Rambeau because remember, Rambeau, Danvers, and of course Kamala Khan are all supposed to be in the Marvels, which is the Captain Marvel sequel. And Disney Feige have no faith in Brie Larson holding her own in a movie because everybody hates her because she's opinionated. I wish people could get over it, but whatever. um, Comics stuff, love interest. Bruno. I hope this whole Bruno was trying to talk to her about him possibly going to Caltech and something else he wanted to talk to her about. And it's very obvious he was cock blocking her really hard when she was meeting the guy. And I love the relationship that she has with her close female Muslim friend. She really does need to be brought in on Kamala having powers. They need to do that quickly because that can also cause a rift. It's like, why didn't you tell me? Well, people chasing me and trying to capture me. Blah 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 blah. I love seeing the character train. Like, you don't get that enough sometimes, right? A lot of times it's like, oh, no offense to Kate Bishop, but a lot of times it's like, oh, I've been training since I was little. Okay, cool. Or you get the thing where it's like, you can tell how Natasha was trained because we see other people going through the training she went through. Or you can tell that Hawkeye has been doing this for a long time based on when he met Natasha and how long they say he's been there and how much Fury trusts him. We obviously saw Captain America. So when you see these characters, it harkens again back to Falcon and Winter Soldier, where you see Sam practicing with the shield. I enjoy seeing things like that, especially when you have a series. You have time to say, hey, by the way, they don't magically know how to fight. Even if the early Mighty Morphin Power Rangers can show, hey, these kids know karate and they know martial arts, so they don't automatically just become powerful. They know how they've been training. You see them train. You can definitely do that in a budgeted show like a Disney Plus Marvel show. Let's talk about some Easter eggs. When her and her love interest were talking about Bollywood movies, we get we Kingo's name, Kingo's Bollywood name. His name his name dropped. All of their older relatives, their older female relatives had crushes on this guy. He's a Bollywood legend. Um, her friend actually gives her iconic earrings and scarf that's part of her normal wear. I do hope we see her wearing that more often. I hope it's not just like a one done out, at one of their social gatherings of sorts. I don't know the names about a lot of these things, and I didn't write them down. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. Um, I already mentioned the bad guys, and it's pretty cool that if you pay attention, that she saved the thief, the little thief kid. And the kid is even asking, "Well, why am I up this high? Why would I do that?" I enjoy stuff like that. Um, Very interested in seeing where this show goes. I had little to no faith or interest in this show in the very beginning. Then my interest grew when I found out how much of a fan Iman was. That really helps. You really want people who enjoy the medium to be in these shows or running these shows or directing and writing these shows, because then they understand the heart of it. You don't need one-to-one recreations. You can do Easter eggs, you can do shout outs, but as long as you capture the overall spirit, and I feel, even at this second episode, I do feel that Kamala Khan's heart, regardless if the powers are different, the heart and spirit of the character is definitely being shown, and it's I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm going to give this episode a 4.5 out of 5 because it wasn't bad. It's just it wasn't bad. It's just it didn't sock me in the face. It was great. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't to the moon, right? And it definitely wasn't just average. This is a series that I can see people binging and watching over and over and over again. I even mentioned in my last video that one of the co-creators of Kamala Khan, Ms.Marvel, is an executive producer on here. That definitely helps things out. So this show is definitely setting a bar for. Whew, it sucks that She-Hulk is going to be following this. I really hope She-Hulk's actually one of my favorite characters. So I hope that she follows this up very well. That they do that show justice like this show's getting justice. But please, enough of my school. Enough of my babbling. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. I gave it a 4.5. Do you think I should have gone higher? Do you think I should have gone lower? Please let me know. Don't forget to crush that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. And don't forget to hit notification bell to be notified of more videos like this. And go ahead and share this video. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I know we can do that. I know we can. So, with all that being said, thank you for taking some time out to spend some time with me. Be good, be blessed, wash your hands, wear a mask, be safe out there. It's pretty hot in the Midwest, so please do not suffer in the heat. Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk, and I will most definitely see you all next time.